And welcome to We Are Fin. Right here with me now I have Robbie Bourke from Oliver Wyman. Welcome to We Are Fin.
Hi Andy, great to see you, great to be here.
Good to see you again. Look, your role at Oliver Wyman is quite all-encompassing, but I want you to talk to me today about the challenges, the large challenge that the aviation sector has. How do you think they're going to roll out over the next decade?
Yeah, the next decade is quite an interesting time for the aviation industry. The challenges we've faced over the last couple of years have been very well documented, I think, for not only aviation but more broadly. And I think as we look over the next 10 years, there's some interesting things that we are keeping an eye on. For a start, the global aviation, particularly commercial aviation, is going to continue to grow, largely driven by increasing global GDP and increasing global middle classes. It's not going to be a straight line. There's going to be a bit of a rocky road ahead for sure, and much of that is driven by some of the challenges we're seeing day to day around supply chains, around workforce, and around sustainability topics, which we know are kind of very much world topics as well as aviation ones.
So talk me through some of those challenges for not just the manufacturers but the wider ecosystem. First of all, supply chain.
Yeah, so supply chain is quite a challenging one. We've seen that come through very clearly around the stopping of supply chains. Again, not just an aviation topic specifically, but one that we're seeing play out very clearly for the aviation ecosystem. What that's doing is it's driving up the cost of spare parts, which ultimately puts a lot of pressure on the industry, whether that's the OEMs, whether that's the airlines, and ultimately whether that's the passenger themselves and the ticket price that they might see.
The industry has made some great steps forward in sustainability, but that still is a challenge as well, isn't it?
Yeah, aviation is one that has been making kind of annual strides that are massive over the last 40 years that probably go very much undocumented. And a lot of the reason for the pressure that comes onto the aviation industry is because it is continuing to grow. But it's also really hard to decarbonize and make big leaps. Paris-aligned requirements are 7% per year over the next decade or so. That's really hard for aviation, and as it's growing also. But a lot of the signals over the last 2 years are huge long-term commitments for OEMs, for airlines, to make those big steps that are needed. There's still a long way to go, and a lot of that is because of the timelines that aircraft have from a development perspective, which are measured in decades and not in weeks.
And from the human perspective, the workforce challenges that are going to face the wider ecosystem.
Yeah, workforce has been a real problem for aviation. Anybody who's tried to go on a holiday this summer in the UK can probably see that, and I know that isn't a UK thing either. It's across the globe. There's been challenges around people returning after furlough and post-COVID, but also we've got some challenges on encouraging people to come into the industry as well. So it's kind of multifaceted. And as the industry continues to grow, those issues around workforce are just going to get more acute. So there's lots of ways that can be dealt with, and many are trying to do it at the moment. Digitization is one way, of course, driving a much more digital mindset into aviation and aerospace. We're probably seeing that in the apps on our iPhones as well as other things. But that's just going to get harder. And I think that's one, that workforce challenge actually presents us with an opportunity as well. We know diversity and inclusion is a challenge that the aviation industry has had for many years, and some have performed much better in the last while and are really addressing that problem. This gives us an opportunity to address diversity and inclusion, I think, as the workforce challenge continues to build.
And you talk of that as being an opportunity. What are the other opportunities that you think the industry can maximise on over the next decade?
Well, there's one big growth opportunity that is around advanced air mobility. So the idea of the Jetsons and the flying taxis has been something of folklore for many years. However, it's starting to become quite real. We're seeing lots of OEMs start to emerge, building vehicles that are for 5 and 10 people, electric in nature, but looking to try and take cars off the road, try to remove congestion from continuing growing cities. And that's an area I think that has always been quite niche for aviation that is starting to emerge into mainstream.
Robbie, thank you very much for your time and your insight from Oliver Wyman.
No problem.
Okay, now for the latest, of course, from everything aviation, head to wearefin.com.